Hello there. Have you read? Habakkuk is a 3-chapter gem. Historically, it is set in the southern kingdom after the northern kingdom has been carried into exile by the Assyrians, who are no longer the world power. The Babylonians, or the Chaldeans, as they are referred to in the book of Habakkuk, have risen to the top of the power rankings. Habakkuk has a concern about the prevailing wickedness of the southern kingdom. This was at a time before Facebook existed. How do you let anyone know your frustration without being able to post it on Facebook? What did Habakkuk do? He talked with God, and God answered. We have the pleasure of reading that conversation. Listen to the outline or the overview of that conversation in Habakkuk. Habakkuk lodges his complaint in the first 4 verses of chapter 1. How long, O Lord, will I call for help, and you will not hear? I cry out to you violence, yet you do not save. That's Habakkuk 1:2. God answers in verses 5 through 11. For behold, I am raising up the Chaldeans, that fierce and impetuous people who march throughout the earth to seize dwelling places which are not theirs. That's Habakkuk 1:6. This doesn't make sense to Habakkuk to use those less righteous. Your eyes are too pure to approve evil, and you cannot look on wickedness with favor. Why do you look with favor on those who deal treacherously? Why are you silent when the wicked swallow up those more righteous than they? That's the 13th verse of chapter 1. Habakkuk questioned God, and God doesn't strike him down. Instead, God answers, trust me. Behold, as for the proud one, his soul is not right within him, but the righteous will live by his faith. That's Habakkuk 2:4. You might recognize this verse because it is quoted in the New Testament 3 times. I believe it's Romans, Galatians, and Hebrews. Listen to this quote from my Old Testament survey book by LaSore, Hubbard, and Bush. Like Job, Habakkuk used his questions neither to shield himself from moral responsibilities, nor to shun God's claims upon his life. He was genuinely perplexed by the unpredictable nature of God's dealings. He raised his protests because he hungered and thirsted to see God's righteousness vindicated. God's self-revelation laid to rest the ghost of the prophet's doubts and gave birth to a finer faith. The redeeming God had used the questions as a means of grace to fortify Habakkuk's faith. Chapter 3 concludes with the prayer of Habakkuk and closes with the acknowledgement of trust in God. Though the fig tree should not blossom, and there be no fruit on the vines, though the yield of the olive should fail, and the fields produce no food, though the flock should be cut off from the fold, and there be no cattle in the stalls, yet I will exult in the Lord. I will rejoice in the God of my salvation. The Lord God is my strength, and he has made my feet like hinds' feet, and makes me walk on my high places, for the choir director on my stringed instruments. That's the 17th through the 19th verse of the 3rd chapter. It reminds me to live by faith in a world of wickedness, knowing God is at work in ways that may not make sense to me. It also reinforces the idea of prayer, to go to God and ask the question, just as Habakkuk did. Make those observations, ask God to intervene. Ask God to answer. Ask God to show himself. Ask God for that awakening, that great awakening that this country needs to turn to him. Keep reading. Encourage others to read. And expect to find more gems to help us live like Jesus. Thank you.